Hello everyone, welcome to another Mindmap. This is Jengir. Today I want to talk a little bit about self-discipline and just many people reaching out on social media and like asking questions about like how do you become a man of focus, man of self-discipline. That's not exactly what I am, but I am definitely a person who is on the quest of how you can further embody this as like I would say this is my value, and how can you embody this. So today I want to talk about maybe we will learn some tips about self-discipline. I want to talk about mindset. I want to talk about how people who have self-discipline think about themselves and the world. I want to talk about the ambition and desire that stands behind it. What can you do about your process and can actually implement self-discipline into your life? Want to talk about some problems that can come up on the way, and simple tip like of what you can do next, and of course sharing resources. So let's talk about mindset first, right? So let's talk about mindset, and first of all, I want to talk about problems with the lack of self-discipline, right? Like first you need to understand like, okay, what can go wrong if I don't live a disciplined life? Like what can go wrong potentially, right? So first of all, health problems. Yeah, you're not disciplined enough to exercise, you get health problems, distracted minds if you don't have time for organization, and distracted mind leads to lack of focus in life. And if your life is not focused, it leads to poor results. Similarly to procrastination, right? If you think like, okay, I can do this tomorrow never comes. You wake up and it's today again, right? And the results are not achieved. Obviously, lack of focus and poor results bring you financial problems. No one wants that. Clutter in life, both like in your mind and externally in your environment, it leads to feeling overwhelmed. When you feel overwhelmed, it creates anxiety that can lead to depression. You're feeling helpless. I cannot, like, things are spinning out of control. I did not control my life. And that create like everything. It's already like when I start just listing all these problems, it sounds very, very overwhelming. So, what reasons for? I didn't finish this here, but rather the reasons for developing self-discipline, right? First of all, understand like no one is born with self-discipline. This is something we develop throughout the life. I think reasons for not developing, but reasons for lack of self-discipline, right? For lack of self-discipline. No one is born with self-discipline, as we discussed, right? But why people do not engage in this activity, do not start developing discipline? Someone stops them. What are the potential blockers? Well, primarily it's this erroneous notion that thinking that self-discipline is hard to attain. It's hard to get. It's hard to develop. It's something very hard. Well, self-discipline is associated automatically with something that is hard, right? How can we go around this? That's gonna be the conversation for today. Negative mental programming, right? Like, it can be anything. Like, it can be programming yourself for failure, right? I'm gonna start, it's too hard, I'm gonna fail, right? Like, I'm not that kind of person. That's like a meta program, right? I'm not a disciplined person. Like, I don't have this kind of willpower in me, right? And or even worse, like some kind of destructive programs that you have, like, this self-discipline junkies, productivity junkies. That's not who I am. I want to go with the flow. I just want to, I will go with the current, right? And all kind of programs. I don't know. This will require some deep dive into your own mind and understand if there is something there that requires exploration. Just simple laziness. And how do I define laziness? Laziness is a lack of a desire to change, right? There's no, like, how do you motivate a lazy person? You don't motivate a lazy person. You tell them, you want to be lazy, you want to live like this, you want to stay like this in your current state. Stay like this, right? And then the person will start thinking, right? And this is the NLP presupposition we talk a lot about. So whenever, and this is like the person you want to help to, or this is just for yourself, right? The change will happen only when the pain of change becomes less than the pain of remaining the same. When you realize it's like, okay, yes, change is, transformation is painful, but like I cannot live like this anymore. That's when the change starts to happen. Temptations, right? Some things just like distract us, right? Temptations and distractions. I don't know, TV is on, right? Something, and you cannot even like, oh, I wanna watch Netflix. I wanna watch my favorite TV show. Oh, my friends are calling. They're calling me to drink, right? Or like to do something else. But how does it distract you from your ultimate goal? And we'll talk about this more. Procrastination. Procrastination is, again, what is procrastination? Procrastination is a result of flawed mental programming, right? And where's the flaw lies? Well, whether you have a mentality of work hard, play hard, you work hard, you get your results, you earn that kind of, you give yourself permission to relax and then you relax, or you think, okay, I'm gonna play hard, I want to enjoy right now, YOLO, and then work, maybe I will find some time later, I'll do this tomorrow, right? That's a flawed mental programming, and that results in procrastination. Lack of willpower, motivation, ambition. In general, I define it as lack of vision, right? You don't know where you want to go. You don't know where you want to be, right? And because you don't have this vision, there is nothing there that would inspire you for action, right? So what kind of vision can we design here in order to, so that we think about it and it sets us on fire? The higher is the vision, the higher is energy of potential, right? And the more energized we become if we think about it. We'll talk about this more. A weak state of physical body, that's a biggie one, right? Like you do not, it is not a knowledge when you like look at people who are physically strong and you think, okay, like that's, yeah, I understand. I have a knowledge of what it is like to be strong. You have a knowledge of what it's like to be strong only when you're strong, when it is in your body and you feel this energy, right? When you have low life energy, you don't know, and probably you have never experienced anything different, right? That's your normal, right? When you're physically strong, you have agility, you have endurance, and you have this life energy. You just sometimes you don't know what to do with this energy, right? How to channel it, right? And that's a good problem to have if you have life energy and you're looking for the ways to channel it. Now, next one. So that's like when you understand what kind of problems arise with it and what are the reasons, right? And we talked a lot about this mental programming, right? How do you program yourself? How do you work around this mental programming? You come up with a system of definitions that work for you, right? And what is the system of definitions that work for you? So you can go with like how do you define self-discipline from like a psychological standpoint, neurological, and philosophical, right? So I will just share this like from my perspective, right? Psychologically, I would say self-discipline. You think like, okay, it's doing hard things without burning out and actually enjoying it, right? And so yes, but by definition, self-discipline is doing hard things. But I think this piece is important, right? You don't do hard things to the extent that you burn out, and you're actually enjoying the process, right? Neurologically, what is self-discipline, right? Well, your brain matter is growing in response to the work, right? Like you do the hard work and your brain becomes more capable of doing this. Like this is what David Goggins says. I'm pretty sure you know him, like very famous self-discipline advocate on YouTube, right? And author of the book Can't Hurt Me. He's saying like, well, when you do this thing, you just go back to it. You just go back to it. You just go back to it, right? And like your brain starts to adapt because he understands like this guy is not gonna quit. Like so, the adaptation comes, right? The areas of your neocortex that are responsible for discipline, they will have to grow, right? Philosophically, what does self-discipline mean for you philosophically, right? Like self-discipline for me personally is a tool of manifestation, right? You develop self-discipline in order to control this reality more, in order to manifest the vision that you have in your mind about what kind of reality you want to materialize for yourself, right? And that's a question of clarity. Like, do you understand what kind of environment do you want to materialize, right? And do you understand your motivation behind this? So all of this, right, with all this, and that's again, I don't want to kind of impose these definitions, but I want to inspire this self-reflection, right, for yourself. How can you define self-discipline for yourself? And change of self-discipline, right? Like it will require a certain identity shift. And what I mean by that is like understanding how, like just thinking about it, like how do disciplined people think? And what are the characteristics of disciplined people, right? How do they think? What do they do? First of all, they enjoy doing hard things, right? I left a note here. Like, why? Like that gives them the sense of accomplishment. People who like make cold showers, like you talk to Wim Hof, for example, right? And he says like, yeah, people say I love cold. I hate it, right? But I love what it does to me, right? Waking up early, right? Also, is it pleasant? Not at the beginning, right? But once you start like working on your goals early in the morning, by the time like normal people start work at 9 a.m., you like have a lot done. It gives you a sense of accomplishment, right? And this is why you wake up, right? Working out, painful, right? Painful, but that's like kind of what you're doing here. You're leveraging the biochemistry, right? Like when you're exercising, your body releases endorphins, and if you think about these hormones, basically the sole purpose, one of the primary purpose of endorphins is to serve as a painkiller. You're exercising and you're generating painkillers in your body. You're like drug generating machine, right? Everyone likes getting high. Well, that's what you do to get high, but it's a pure natural high. Like you exercise and you feel great. You can probably see like some people in the gym just sitting on the bench and zoning out, like they're just drifting on this high wave. So disciplined people enjoy doing hard things, right? They seize the day by seizing the morning. Well, yeah, it's arguable, not necessarily. People are different, but I want to say seizing the morning because I like personally experienced like the feeling of accomplishment, like once you get things done before 9 a.m., right? But I understand that many people operate very, very effectively in the night, right? It's all about like what works for you, right? Disciplined people create systems, right? They are systematic towards their approach to life. Like they block the time for the things they want to do. They iterate on their systems, right? It's a constant process of improvement. Like what works for me better, what doesn't work for me, how do I eliminate that? How do I do more of the things that work for me, right? Disciplined people know who they are, right? It's they understand their mission, they understand their values, what they stand for. They know their why, right? They know why they wake up in the morning. And they have full awareness of their motivators. Like the reason, again, as I said, what gets them going, what's the source of their drive. You need awareness in order to create change. They have a vision to work towards. Yeah, we talked about it. Like whatever you want to be, a millionaire, successful entrepreneur, a life coach, a father, and a son, and an influencer, a thought leader, right, a manager, CEO, whatever, right? Disciplined people would have a vision, right, towards which they are working on, So, disciplined people act because this is what they believe they are, right? We like if you're disciplined, you believe I'm a disciplined person, and this is what I believe in. This is how I think I should act, and that's the identity shift we're talking about. Like all these things should happen first in the mind before they manifest themselves, before you can embody them. So. We talked about this. Things to know before we jump in, right? Very important thing to know about self-discipline. Willpower is a finite resource, right? You cannot tap into this, I need to say resource. You cannot tap into this infinitely, right? What does that mean? It means that you need all the help you can get, right? Leverage all the different things here. So leverage flow, right? What's the state of flow? State of flow is you achieve that state when you lose the sense of time, right? Like it's some kind of, and I'm pretty sure you've experienced that before. I don't know. My best example would be snowboarding, right? You're sliding downhill, and time disappears. It's like a feeling of flight, right? And time passes, you don't notice, right? How can you create more flow in your life? Leverage environment, right? We talked about eliminating distractions, temptations, right? But there is no urge to watch TV if you throw away your TV. that's very radical, right? Like there is no urge to eat something unhealthy if you don't put it in your basket in the grocery shop, right? Leverage accountability, like what kind of partners you can create that would support you on your journey, right? Well, maybe that would be a coach, maybe that would be your best friend, maybe that would be some community, right? Maybe it would be again your partner, or even your parent, right? Leverage systems. We're all familiar with Atomic Habits, James Clear, right? How can you create systems for yourself? Leverage momentum. That's important, right? Once you get into the groove of things, right, slowly it will become your cadence. And human being is very much a creature of habit, right? How can you leverage that? So we talked about mindset. I think like it's kind of like the rewiring started. One thing that I want to talk about here in the again, and that's probably for some people and the identity shift that should happen, is the locus of control. What's the locus of control? There's a concept of internal locus and external locus of control. Very, very simplified definition of both. Internal locus of control is when you understand, like you perceive the world thinking I'm the center of the world, right? And I'm the source of change. Like everything comes from me from inside of me into the external world. External locus of control, I'm inside of the world, and the things that happen in the world, they affect me, right? I'm something inside of that turmoil of change, inside of this entropy, and that is accurate to a certain extent, but and you can adopt, like it can also be situational, but general as a worldview. How do you perceive yourself in this world, right? As a part of this world. And that brings me to different relationships. Like let's go through them one by one. So relationship with cause and effect, right? With internal locus of control, you would think I make things happen, right? Not things happen to me, but I make things happen, right? That gives you sense of control over the things that happen in your life. Relationship with possibility, right? People with an external locus of control, they're excited by pushing themselves and to see what's possible. They're like, okay, right? Like here's my current capacity, but let's see what I can do. Let's see how I can push myself. Whereas with external locus of control, you would be thinking, oh, why bother? Too hard. Why pushing yourself? Like live your life, be easy. Relationship, that brings us to relationship with hard work, right? Internal locus of control, challenge accepted. I'm doing this hard work in order to challenge myself, in order to see how far I can go, what I can achieve, right? And that brings you to like the sense of personal accomplishment. Versus external locus, why work hard when no one is watching? No one is watching. Like my manager is not watching. Why should I push myself? Like I can take a nap, right? Relationship with positive thinking. Internal locus, productive optimism, and external locus brings you to passive pessimism. And that's kind of simple and common sense, but it's important to kind of talk about this. It is productive to be optimist, right? Pessimists don't change the world. Pessimists say like how everything is bad, and they complain and they blame again, external factors, right? Optimists look into the future focused. They think of the future bright. They're looking at the trends, and they find evidence that indeed, right now, like just objectively and statistically, we live much better than before. And if we come together, we can do something even better, right? Optimists change the world, and optimists think positively. I do not evangelize positive thinking. You do need negative thinking. Like, if you just avoid negative emotions, you will not be able to grow into a mature human being, right? Because you need to understand both sides, your dark side and your positive, bright side, right? And you need to find a balance between them, something that works for you. Relationship with luck. Internal locus, I'm making my own luck. External, this is just a bad luck, right? You can see like the difference in perspective. Relationship with destiny. Internal locus, I'm the captain of my ship. I decide where I go, right? External locus, my fate is decided, right? There is a destiny, I'm doomed, right? Internal locus, when you think I'm the captain of my ship, you think if there is no wind, right? If there is no luck, right? If there is no wind, I will get to the oars. I will do the hard work. I will do the heavy lift, and I will go where I need to go, right? Not fighting stupidly the currents, right? But understand how to navigate, not to crash, right? Versus external, well, the current will take me somewhere. Like I will flow, right? So relationship with blame, right? Internal, I'm responsible for what's happening to me. External, endowing external factors with this responsibility, right? Internal locus, I am taking 100% responsibility for my results, for what's happening in my life. Like my current physical state, the relationships that I have, my money, my career, right? The place where I find myself in, 100% of my responsibility. External locus, you're blaming external factors, right? Government, like, oh, this is good, this government, or blaming parents, or blaming your partner, or blaming your friends, or something. Always something to blame, right? This is the difference in perspective. Relationship with responsibility, that's a big one, right? Internal locus, you think responsibility breeds empowerment. The more responsibility you take, the more empowered you feel, the more you feel in control. External locus, responsibility is a burden. So heavy. Why do I need to do this? Right? Like, why bother? Like, why take so much responsibility? When you take responsibility, you think, responsibility breeds empowerment. You think, what's the thought process here? Like, no one cares about my life more than me. Like, no one wants your success more than you. No one cares about you, right? Like, people are all the same in the sense that you think, oh, they think about me too much. No, like, they think about themselves a lot, right? No one cares about your life more than you. And like, sounds rough, but no one will get my shit together because, it's my shit. First of all, I need to deal with it, right? And I will do it because who will, if not me? That's the question. That's when you focus internally, right? Lastly, relationship with awareness, right? Internal locus, you observe your thoughts, you learn how to control your thoughts, right? We understand, like, we do not control what's popping up in that little black box of ours, right? But we do control, like, what are we focusing on? Versus external locus, engage with everything that comes to mind. Like, you're floating irresponsibly, like, I think, like, the mind is like a dog, right? Chasing cars, right? Whatever you throw the stick and the mind goes there, right? That is an irresponsible relationship with your own awareness, right? Floating in your flow of thoughts irresponsibly. That brings me to, so that this is just about locus of control. I don't. This requires some self-reflection, right? Like, what are the things that probably I'm doing already, what I'm doing and I'm not being aware of, right? And what can I do better here? Self-discipline, the important element is desire, right? Like, desire shifts the mountains, right? Like where the desire comes from. It comes from two things: your vision and your mindset, right? Your vision, again, self-reflection, journaling, right? Write down all these questions and write your answers for them. What is your why? Like a little bit of coaching or self-coaching, if you will. What is your why? Why do you need this self-discipline? What are you trying to achieve? Where do you want to go? And what is your vision that you work towards, right? Imagine that you're already that person. Like you let's say you sorted these 4 things out. Imagine that you're already that person who possesses what you want. How does that look like for you? Like write in the details and like understand that, right? And then this is probably like important meditation tool. Who are you doing it for? So some examples like gym motivation or work motivation. I think every man goes through this like kind of psychological evolution in the gym, right? I go there, like many guys start working out. Like I want girls to like me, and then girls starting noticing you, and you think like, okay, I want other men to fear me, right? And then it becomes a competition of whose biceps is bigger, and that's sadly like the scenario when many guys are stuck at this level of consciousness, right? Like never outgrow it, and this is where the like bodybuilding comes from, right? Very very strange version of a beauty pageant. Anyways, I'm digressing here. Next level of consciousness would be like, why are you working out there? I work out for myself, and that's again brings us to internal locus of control. It just becomes your second nature, your first nature, right? It becomes a part of me. I cannot live without it. This is who I am, right? And you exercise, right? Sorry, bodybuilders, respect you. Like it's great what you're doing. Keep doing what you do. Work motivation could be another example, right? Like who are you doing it for? Like, are you doing it because your manager is watching? Are you doing it for your family, right? Like family can be a great motivation. Like I need to provide, I need to put food on my table, roof above my head. Or are you doing it for yourself, right? Like are you building the career of your dreams? Vision. We talked about vision. Let's talk about mindset, right? Like what kind of things, how can you reprogram yourself? Like in order to create that desire, in order to integrate self-discipline, more self-discipline in your life, right? This is a big piece of mindset, I think. The way you do anything is the way you do everything, right? Like, I don't know who said that. Some people associated with Robert Iger, the CEO of Disney, right? But it's just a saying that you can adopt, right? Like the way you do anything is the way you do everything. The way you treat like simple things, right? You can brush your teeth and you can do it automatically and thoughtlessly. You can brush your teeth and stand on one leg, and this will be a habit that will develop your coordination with time, right? And this is true for everything. How present are you, and how much mindfulness do you put into your activities? How much discipline do you put in that? Tony Robbins asked, like, how am I going to live today in order to create the tomorrow I'm committed to? Again, that brings us to vision, right? Like, and simplified, like, what is the vehicle of today? What is the system of today that will eventually bring me to the future that I am committed to, right? Understand where you want to be and start chipping away. Like it's a lot of work in front of you. It can be intimidating, but how do you eat an elephant? Piece by piece, right? Like you bring your saw, you bring your knife, and you not like I'm recommending you eating an elephant. Like I'm recommending having a more plant-based diet. And but this is what you do, right? You do it slowly and gradually and systematically. Right? Think about your mission statement, and don't worry about your mission. Your mission statement will evolve with you as you grow, like as you mature as a being, right? Your mission will evolve with you, right? The vision, the direction will probably remain the same, right? Your goals will change. That's absolutely true. Your plans will change, right? Still, what you should focus on chipping away, like there is a forest to plant, like what's like one tree at a time every day, We talked about it, how to move a mountain. Like, you crash the rock and you carry it bucket by bucket, right? That's another probably analogy, that another metaphor that could help. You say, yeah, it's hard to move a mountain. It is hard. It depends on the scale of the mountain that is in front of you. It might take a lifetime, right? But if you think about it, lifetime, it is the lifetime. It is life. It's what the life is, right? You're making something of yourself. The only kind of life that would make sense, personally for me, is the focus type of life, right? And that you'll find this in I took it from from books of Cal Newport, from Deep Work, right? Focused life will bring you results and the meaning. Don't think about the goal too much. Like with self-discipline, many people, and we'll talk about this, like one of the biggest problem, I put that goal, I don't achieve that goal, I feel like crap, right? The process is the goal, right? The process, and Alan Watts writes that, right? The goal of the dance is not to get from one corner of the dance floor to another, right? The goal of the dance is a dance, right? You're dancing and you're enjoying the process, right? It's the music, right? Similarly, the goal of meditation is not spiritual awakening, right? It is that discipline it's what you learn about yourself during the journey. It is that discipline of learning how to focus your attention on the things that are important to you. It is learning how to create that distance between you and your thoughts, right? And understanding that you are not your thoughts, right? That could be the goal of meditation, right? Spending that time in a meditative state. Try out new things, right? Find something that truly inspires you, and then do that one thing. Commit. Like, I don't know what makes you tick, right? Like, I don't know, the creating these kind of mind maps, writing stuff, telling people, like sharing with people the knowledge that I've collected, facilitating the knowledge, right? That's kind of things that make me tick. Right? Maybe it's not your gig. Maybe you're into aerospace engineering, maybe development, maybe I don't know, whatever. But whatever it is, chances are it will be some sort of form of service to other people. How can you serve this world, right? If you find it truly inspires you, commit to it. Just do this one thing, right? Every day, a little bit, and something will come out of it, right? I like this Buddhist expression. I should have put it here, but at first you choose the path, and then the path is choosing you, right? And that's very true in everything, right? You choose something, you do it, and then suddenly it becomes you. So vision and mindset, right? Like find what sets you on fire, right? Like, see this fire emoji? Next one. The process is the goal. So what is the process? First of all, I'm not big on goals, right? But nonetheless, you do need some certain milestones, right? Some kind of plan, whatever works for you. What is the next level of the game? Like, how do I get there? Like I say, level of the game. Consider this a game, right? Consider this, gamify your journey towards self-discipline. What are the milestones? How can I maybe make it attractive and reward it, right? What are some quick wins, right? What can I do to feel better about myself with the minimum investment of my time and energy? So, simple example, breath work. It takes 5 minutes, right? You make like a slow, mindful breathing, 20 cycles. It will take under 5 minutes. Tabata, right? Exercise, it takes 4 minutes. You do it once a day, you feel better about yourself. Reading, just 1 page, right? Like, there are some books that are designed in a way that you read them 1 page a day, 1 page a day, 1 page a day, 1 page a day. You'll get a taste of it. You'll get, if like reading is not your habit, you'll take a taste. You'll get a taste, and then it will pull you in. You will start absorbing more. Create space, right? Again, we talked about it. Willpower is a finite resource, right? How do you track your resources? How do you track your willpower? And then how do you allocate your resources? Like, if you're using your willpower, where do you channel it in, right? Create time. Coaching question: if you're saying yes to this, what are you saying no to, right? You have only 24 hours a day. Like, what how do you create time for the things that would develop your self-discipline, right? So block time, use time blocking, track your time, wall calendar. This one tip helped me a lot personally. Like you print a calendar, you put it like 1 month, you put it on your wall, and you just cross every day you've done certain thing, right? Again, for habit forming. And it's just when it's has a physical form in front of your eyes, you kind of feel bad if you skip the day, right? So that supports you. This is how you can leverage your environment. Exercise, I don't know, my opinion again, is as an absolute must, right? You are in nature. You look in nature. You're one of the best movers out there. Moving is your inherent property, right? But exercise, like the beauty and the strengths of the body, is not the primary goal that why human beings should exercise. The primary goal, the way I see it, is rewiring the brain. It's all the benefits that you get for the brain, right? We have this cognitive ability for a reason, like we are thinking for a reason, and then exercise is actually a tool to make you a better thinker. Take a look at this TED Talk by Wendy Suzuki, and it will take you to other stuff to research. Long story short, your exercise, better mood, better energy, better memory, better attention. Better memory, better attention, you're a better learner, right? Again, the area responsible for your self-discipline of your brain is growing, and then you can channel this newly developed willpower and discipline into something you need, right? Better mood, emotional state drives behavior. Better energy, you have the energy to channel it into the activities that matter to you. Meditate and reflect, right? What does that mean? Again, we talked about this a lot. Change requires awareness, right? How can you grow in awareness, right? Sit down and just simply one small thing. Sit down, think about it. What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses, right? And then leverage your strengths in your self-discipline and think about it. Okay, what I can do with my weaknesses and how I can, what I can do not to let them distract me, right? Daily diligence, we talked about this. If you create time, right, create a daily checklist where you're on track that day. In the morning, what do I plan to accomplish? In the evening, what have I accomplished? By the end of the week, same thing. Deep work, I think that's a must. Again, similarly to exercise, for everyone's going to be different. So think about it. What activity would allow you to practice deep work, leaning on the state of flow, right? For me, it is writing, for example, right? I can write, and if I get into the state, I can sit like this for 3-4 hours, right? And the time will pass. I won't notice that. It's just like being absorbed in your own thoughts, right? For someone, I don't know. My wife is enjoying karate classes these days, right? Snowboarding, great example, as I said. What is that for you? Music, right? Same thing. I'm taking guitar. If I get into the state, I'm lost for a couple of hours. Easy. What is that for you? Create meaning. How to create meaning? You're a meaning generating machine. We are, as human beings, we are meaning generating machines. Whatever happened in our life, our mind instantly associates certain meaning, even if there is none. And probably there is none. But if there is meaning for you, there is meaning, right? Ritualize all your activities. Ritualize your behavior, right? Simply, even food consumption, right? You can consume food in different way. You can make food as a fuel, right? Just come in, drink a protein shake, and get going, 5 minutes. Or food as a ritual. When you sit down, you talk with your loved ones, you connect, right? Like gratitude practice, prayer. How can you ritualize certain activities? Maybe all activities in your day. All right, so we talked about process. What are the problems that can arise with self-discipline journey? Getting overwhelmed, right? What does that mean? Biting more than you can chew, trying to run before you walk, trying to implement too many things at once, right? That's a big problem. So just don't do it, right? Accept the slow, gradual change in the beginning, right? And that's okay. like it's better to implement one thing that will become over the time the core of you, right? Self-accusation. We fail and we're like, I'm stupid, I'm a failure, right? Again, NLP comes in handy here. Program your mind. There is no failure, only feedback. You fail, yes, you fail. You learn something. You've learned something, you'll do better next time, right? And that's a normal learning process, right? You can't learn without failure. Self-accusation, complete garbage. Throw it out. It brings me to self-esteem, right? Same thing. You're not your thoughts, right? Unless you brainwash yourself in the opposite. You're not your thoughts. Like if you have a thought like, hey, I'm a pink elephant, it doesn't make you a pink elephant. But if you repeat the thought 1,000,000 times a day, yeah, you will brainwash yourself, and people in white coats will come for you, right? If you think that I'm a loser, it's a harmless thought by itself, unless you repeat it for millions and millions of times. And you brainwash yourself, and you convince yourself that you are, and you start feeling like one, and you start behaving like one, right? If you wake up look yourself in the mirror, I'm a champion, yeah, you can brainwash yourself, and you will start feeling like a champion. You will start acting like a champion. Feeling of anger. This is an interesting one. It actually can be very powerful energy if you can harness it, right? Like anger can be useful. Anger can be productive, right? Like if you, I don't know, exercising, like practicing boxing, and you have like a sandbag, and you put all this anger, you channel all this anger that you have in yourself very productively. You're like building your body, right? But it can be destructive if it's not harnessed, right? So just look deep inside. If is there anger, and if there is anger, how do you transform it? How do you use it in a way that would help you grow, right? With all these problems being said, the bottom line here is forgive yourself, move on. Whatever happened, right? Like it happened for a reason, right? And you're not your past, and I'm not interested in the past. I don't live there anymore. That's like kind of another little piece that you can use to brainwash yourself, right? Don't be interested in the past. Past is gone. Your past is not your current state. Your past is not your future. Right? Yeah, it did shape us, right? But what we're gonna do about it with what we have today, right now, right here, right now, it's all gonna be up to us. So what's next? As I mentioned, 30-day challenge. I think there is a TED Talk that you can look up to. One thing, just like I'm encourage you and I challenge you, right? Like pin a calendar to your wall. Choose only one thing that you want to do in order to develop your self-discipline, right? And commit to it for 30 days. Think of it again as a game. Here's like this funny little character living his life, and like I will run a pilot project for 30 days and see if it will stick, and if it will stick, and if it will eventually become something enjoyable, and then maybe extend it to 100 days eventually. And after 100 days, the change will be so significant that it will start trickling down and becoming your second nature. And as you go every day, one line, one small paragraph. How are you progressing? What have you learned? How is it going? Right? Keep monitoring your journey. With that, I leave you as usual with resources. Some books to read. We talked about the books that requires one page a day reading. Daily Stoic by Ryan Holiday, 365 Days of Self-Discipline. All right, 1 page a day, like in the morning or whatever works for you. Willpower, Instinct. We'll tell you a lot about willpower. Deep work is obviously a concept that coming from Cal Newport. Flow. Cal Newport talks a lot about flow, but there's a dedicated book, a dedicated researcher. Grit by Angela Duckworth. Atomic Habits, obviously. Can't Hurt Me, interesting journey. My wife is reading these days, and she's truly enjoying it. Eat That Frog. That's like one of the basic ones, but check that out. Maybe you will enjoy it. So take a screenshot of that. Thank you for being here. Today we talked about self-discipline. I wish you to live a disciplined and focused life, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.